We have more evidence surfacing that one of Xbox's most anticipated titles might actually be launching this fall. Could Xbox be working with Lucasfilm on another IP that isn't Indiana Jones? And it seems people are teasing the location for Forza Horizon 5. There's so much here to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall419, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, and if you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and please hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Just when you think there really isn't any Xbox news to talk about, something always happens, whether it's news officially from Xbox or insiders teasing certain things regarding future titles like Forza Horizon 5 and where that actually may be set. And then we have a juicy rumor coming to us from another YouTuber, very popular, very in tune with a lot of different sources, about how Microsoft might be working with Lucasfilm on another IP that isn't Indiana Jones. So we're going to be talking about both of those stories a little bit later on, because the big focus of this video is about Starfield and just when that game is going to release. Now, before we get into this news story that kind of points to Starfield launching this fall, I just want to make mention that I have been saying since January that I felt Microsoft was trying to line up for 3 big releases this holiday season. We know Halo Infinite is coming. There's a possibility of Forza Horizon 5, which we'll be talking about later in the video. And then there is Starfield, Bethesda's next big IP. So I've been saying for a while now that I felt all 3 of those games had the potential to launch together this holiday. And you may have even seen some websites recently source me, like Game Rant and WCCF Tech, about what I said during the podcast on Saturday. That I know Starfield is 100% an Xbox exclusive, only going to be on Xbox. Of course, it's going to be on PC, it's going to be on mobile, but it's not going to be on PlayStation 5, and it's not going to be on Switch. And I did say that Microsoft was trying their hardest to get the game out this holiday. Microsoft's intention is to get Starfield out this fall, but you never know with COVID. The game could still get delayed to 2022, but we have some new legal information today that points to at least the game being revealed this year, if not releasing in 2021. If you have been hoping that Bethesda Game Studios' next game, Starfield, would end up releasing at some point in 2021, it looks like you have a new reason to still have hope. Although not an official confirmation by any means, a new development from Bethesda's end tells us, at the very least, something related to the highly anticipated spacefaring game should come about before the year is through. Noticed by video game YouTuber and podcaster Mr. Matty Plays, it looks as though Bethesda has recently filed a new copyright for Starfield that is dated to 2021. While this might not mean a lot on its own, copyrights like this typically aren't filed until closer to a game's launch. In a subsequent message from one Klober on Twitter, which was assigned to Richard Hogue, it was noted that copyright notices of this type usually come about, quote, when the work is made available to the public without restriction. With that in mind, it seems like something would have to transpire with Starfield in 2021 for this to be true. The obvious thing to take away from all this is that Starfield could absolutely be releasing in 2021, and if that were to happen, it wouldn't be the first time that we've heard murmurs about such a development. That being said, we're also living in a time where game development has become drastically more complicated due to the ongoing pandemic. So even if Bethesda intends to release Starfield in 2021, those plans could come crashing down quickly as the year progresses. Still, the fact that a 2021 date has now been attached to the Starfield copyright means that we should definitely have more hope as the year advances, and if nothing else, perhaps this means we'll finally get confirmation within the next few months on which platforms the game will be coming to. For now, all we know for certain is that Starfield will absolutely release on Xbox and PC. PlayStation consoles are still a lingering question. So I'm going to throw up the trademark on screen. You can see there, Starfield in development, trademark 2021, Bethesda Softworks LLC, a ZeniMax Media company. Starfield and its logos are registered trademarks or trademarks of ZeniMax Media. Now, if you actually go back and look at prior releases, Dishonored 2 had the trademark of 2017, Doom Eternal had the trademark for 2020, Fallout 4 had the trademark for 2015, and those were the years that those games actually released. And then you have my buddy Xbox Insider Klobrel say, I guess it means something will happen with Starfield publicly this year. And he has a quote here attributed to Hogue Law, who's a lawyer that covers the gaming space. Quote, the general rule is that the year in a copyright notice is the year of first publication of the work. First publication is when the work is made available to the public without restriction. So if you take what Hogue Law is saying here, you combine it with the fact that other Bethesda games were trademarked in the year they released, it certainly lends more credence to the idea that Starfield will actually be releasing sometime later this year. Is it 100% confirmed? Of course not. That confirmation has to come from Xbox, which I think we will receive during E3 when Bethesda has their own showcase, and more than likely Todd Howard is going to give a lengthy presentation about the game, very similar in style to Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and the big reveal will probably be the date when it comes out, hopefully sometime in November or October. Maybe it doesn't release this fall because who knows with everybody working from home, but it does seem pretty much confirmed that Starfield will be revealed this year at the very least. Now, I just want to quickly mention how hilarious and sad I find it that some publications out there are listening to the Xbox 2 podcast with me and Jez that we put on every single week and are kind of picking and choosing what to report on. So a bunch of websites have this headline about how an insider is basically saying Starfield's an exclusive and will be releasing this year. Number one, I've never called myself an insider. You guys know who listen to everything here. I don't consider myself an insider and I never will. Now, while yes, I have said that Starfield will only be on Xbox, it is 100% exclusive and I'm sticking by that. I have an issue with these websites basically trying to paint a picture that I'm confirming that Starfield is releasing this year. I said it was Microsoft's intention and they're trying their best to get it out this year, and who knows if it will actually happen. I could see the game getting delayed, but what really bothers me is if the game doesn't come out this holiday, nobody's gonna point to those websites who wrote those articles. They're not gonna get mad at them. Those people will come to me and say, look, you were wrong, haha, you don't know what you're talking about, because they didn't really present the information that well. And let's be honest, most people don't read the articles, they don't watch the videos, they see the headline. Xbox Insider said Starfield's exclusive and is coming this year, and it's completely kind of sort of taken out of context. But I know how the game is played. I've been right on so many things in the past that people are starting to pay attention, so I have to be careful with what I say, because a lot of these websites are out there to get easy clicks. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Do you believe this copyright notice means the game will be launching this holiday? Make sure to let me know what you think. Now, moving on from that, we have another juicy rumor from Mr. Matty Plays, where he said on his podcast Defining Duke with ACG that one of Xbox's first-party studios is working on a Lucasfilm IP, and it's not Machine Games. So during their podcast, Matty says that he heard that Xbox is taking the Lucasfilm approach while Sony took the Marvel approach with Spider-Man, PS4, and Avengers and all that stuff, right? He says that we know Machine Games is working on Indiana Jones, but he heard that another first-party studio is working on a Lucasfilm IP, and they own stuff like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Monkey Island, etc. And people had brought up in the comments here that perhaps Double Fine was working on a new Monkey Island game since Tim Schafer was the creator of it, but Double Fine did say that their next game is a new IP, so it's probably not that. So then the question always becomes, do you believe the source? And if Matty is saying that he has someone telling him that Xbox is working on another Lucasfilm IP, I tend to believe him. He's very knowledgeable, he has a lot of good sources, especially tied to Bethesda, so that offers up an even bigger question. And that question is, would it be Xbox Game Studios working with Lucasfilm or Bethesda? We know that Bethesda has a previous relationship considering Machine Games is working with Lucasfilm on Indiana Jones. So is it possible that its software is working with Lucasfilm on perhaps a Star Wars shooter, or perhaps Roundhouse's first game under Xbox and Bethesda is a Lucasfilm IP? We know that ZeniMax Online is making a brand new game, but theirs is a new IP, so maybe it's not Lucasfilm. But then if you take over to Xbox Game Studios, they have a ton of creative developers and a lot of different teams. We know that the Coalition is working on Gear 6. Could it be possible that maybe they're in pre-production on something like The Mandalorian and they're working with the Star Wars IP? Or what about a team at inXile or Obsidian making a Star Wars RPG? That's why I find this rumor so fascinating, because I can see it happen, and Lucasfilm is definitely out there trying to broker deals. We know Ubisoft is working on a huge Star Wars game. We know that the Knights of the Old Republic remake is happening in Asper Studios, and who knows what other deals Lucasfilm has outside of Star Wars and the other IPs that they do do own. So let me know in the comments below what studios you would love to see work on what Lucasfilm IP, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, etc., etc. Now, last but not least, we got to talk about Forza Horizon 5 because rumors are swirling that people may know where the game is set. So Forza Horizon 4 took place in Great Britain after the entry beforehand was set in southern Australia. Rumors have begun circulating around the series' newest entry, including that Forza Horizon 5 would not be set in Japan, according to a couple industry insiders, as playtest invites of the game have reportedly started being sent to Xbox insiders. Now, Forza Horizon fans have been theorizing that the next entry will be taking the series to Mexico. The theory comes following 2 tweets made by Xbox community member Kloburl, as well as Windows Central's Jez Corden, both recently discussing Mexico and having to learn Spanish. Last year, Jeff Grubb said that he had some information on Forza Horizon 5, but he didn't want to reveal any of it as the game had not yet been announced, so it's possible that he could be dropping some hints leading up to the game's announcement. While some players in the community were disappointed that the series may not be heading to Japan, Mexico could also be a wonderful location for the series. As Kloburl points out, the variety of locations, beautiful culture, and size make the country very suitable for an open-world racing game. Xbox consoles are also the top-selling consoles in Mexico, so setting the popular series there would be a great treat for Xbox fans there. Look, I know people have wanted Forza Horizon to come to Japan, very much like how players of Assassin's Creed series have wanted that franchise to head to Japan. It's not in the cards, at least not for Forza Horizon 5, so no, Forza Horizon 5 is definitely not set in Japan. And if you have Jeff Grubb and Jez Corden and Kloburl basically teasing stuff about Mexico, then yeah, I would not be shocked whatsoever that Forza Horizon 5 is set in Mexico, and that it will be revealed this summer during the Xbox Game Showcase, potentially set for fall this year. But with COVID, who really knows? Maybe Forza Horizon 5 slips to spring sometime in March of 2022. But I'm going to stick with my predictions that Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, and Starfield will be releasing this holiday, with Forza Horizon 5 and Starfield being revealed at E3. Anyways, guys, that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified immediately whenever I drop a video like this. Please share this out on social media or tell a friend about the channel. And if you want to take your support even further, you can always hit that join button, which will give you access to channel badges and emotes for the Xbox 2 podcast we do every single week with Jez Corden from Windows Central. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys.